The greatest power anyone can ever have is learning how to read people like a book. You'll be able to see friends versus foe. You'll be able to anticipate betrayal. You'll be able to anticipate attacks. You'll be able to know whom to trust and whom to not trust, who to become friends, and who to keep away from, who to date and who not to date, right? And the thing about this is that a lot of people try to get to know people through other people, right? Like rather than getting the information straight from that person, they usually try to get more information from their friends and family. And don't get me wrong, it's actually it's better than nothing. But the part is that people are unreliable, and they can filter information through their own prejudices and through their own biases, maybe because of their friends or maybe because they're family member. And so to get a real gauge about a person, you can't really ask their friends, because they're gonna tell you whatever helps their friends. Trust me, man. They're somewhere in the background here, right? And also most people who are friends will also ignore red flags about their friends and family, and in order to keep a positive image in their minds. So you have to do this one-on-one, right? Eyeball to eyeball, white knuckling it pretty much. And the first step to becoming good at reading people is to understand that people are not impenetrable. People are not that difficult to read. You have to first be motivated to do it. You got to stop thinking of yourself. It's not a quality of whether or not you have the vision to read people. It's whether or not you have the willingness and the open mind to do that, right? People obviously make an effort to try to hide how they feel. It's a habit. But even though they're trying to conceal it, they're going to unconsciously reveal themselves, simply because humans have an urge to tell people who they are. People have an urge to reveal their true nature, and it's almost like criminals who give cops hints, or criminals who give a hint about who they are. The reason why that is because people don't like to hold their secrets. People don't like to hide their dark side. They want to express it. They want somebody to know who they really are. And so what will happen when you're interacting with people is that people are going to unconsciously let things slip out, unconsciously let some of their true nature come out, and they hope that maybe you don't see it, but they're going to do that. The problem is that we're always getting those little slippages, those slip ups on their part. But the problem is that we're not actually paying attention. We're too much in our heads. Let's keep reading the notes, because I prefer to read the notes. We want to find a way to release that tension. People are dying to reveal who they are, right? And so because of that, they're always unconsciously sending signals of their deepest desires and intentions. And if we're not aware of it, it's our fault. The reason why is because we're just locked into our own minds. We think that what we have to say is more interesting. We think that what we are thinking is more interesting than the other person. We see the other person as a world that's barren, as somebody who's boring, and as somebody who doesn't have as many interesting thoughts as we do. And so as a result, we let narcissism filter how we perceive people. And what that does is that you start to just project your intentions onto other people. You start to project your dark side onto other people. So to the extent that you could drop yourself, your self-interest and your ego, you're going to be able to see people for who they are and become more sensitive to the signals that they send out. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how brilliant you are. It's all about to the extent that you are not self-consumed, self-absorbed. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. If you think younger people usually struggle with this the most, because younger people are more self-absorbed when they're younger, right? They lack more theory of mind. They lack self-awareness. So this is more prone to younger people. That's why older people tend to be better manipulators, pretty much, because they get to understand this when they get older, right? So how do you do this? First of all, you got to empty your mind when you're in front of people. And usually if you have too many insecurities, it's going to be really difficult to empty your mind, because there's an underlying tension, an underlying desire to impress them. And how do you know you have that underlying desire to impress them? Pretty much how you take rejection. What do you say to yourself when someone does not like you? How do you feel when somebody does not accept you, does not like you, rejects you, right? That intensity, the level of intensity is usually a reflection of how insecure you are at the end of the day. So that insecurity, when you're in front of them, is always going to be creating a mental dialogue in your mind. How do I say? How do I look? How do I look now? Am I impressing them? Do they like me? And that internal dialogue has a gravitational force, like a black hole that brings all of your thoughts into that one place, where those thoughts are all about how do I get them to like me, right? And because of that, you just stop reading people, and people can sense that. Right? People can sense, man, I gotta stop painting. I gotta stop drawing when I do these videos, people. Always looking like a mess. I draw with charcoal sometimes, so it just messes up my fingers. So yeah, empty your mind and pay attention to nonverbal cues. So how do you empty your mind? Bring attention to a physical sensation. Either bring attention to the breath or bring attention to the hand. Calm down, anchor your thoughts into a repetitive action, and that usually is the breath. Now, why is that? You might say, I may not be able to focus when I'm breathing, when I'm aware of my breath. No, those are two completely different parts of your brain. You can actually pay deep attention to the breath while listening to me. Because all you're doing is feeling sensation. You're not analyzing words. You're not making connections. You're just you're just having the sensation, and that feeling of that sensation is more of a primal thing. It's more in your that area is more in your reptilian brain. The part of you that analyzes information, that understands what's going on, is your frontal cortex. And so you could really you're using the two parts of your brain, because someone's like saying, oh, you could be aware of your depression while listening to someone. You know, that's the only way your attention could be in two places: in awareness of physical sensation, and then awareness of words and of things and processing information. You could actually do that. So that's not really a problem. But most of you guys are weak at that because you don't practice it. That muscle is weak. So it's very hard for a lot of you guys to pay attention to the breath and to listen to what people are saying. So that's why this is difficult. So how do you do that? Well, develop a meditation practice. Right? Order my course, Emotional Mastery, or go to a 10-day meditation retreat, right? That will help fix everything in your mind. After that, you want to pay attention to the nonverbal cues. Change what you prioritize when you are observing people. Prioritize the nonverbal, the tone of voice, and the facial expressions and body language more than words. Words are meant to distract you. So when you actually pay attention to that, you're going to notice that once you start getting good at paying attention to the nonverbal cues, you're going to feel almost like a physical anticipation, and you will feel people's moods inside of you, and you'll become more sensitive to their moods. And this is an antenna that we all have in our brain, right? We all have this antenna. The problem is that this antenna has become muffled. This antenna has become blunted. And so this antenna does not really perceive all of the signals that you're getting, and that antenna is meant for that. So you got to retrain it, right? And it's something that's wired inside of every single one of us, and you could train it. But the thing is, you need a reason why. So you got to have a why this is important, right? If you don't have a reason why, then you're not going to do this, because you're just going to be more self-absorbed, you know. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys ever want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. All right, if you guys enjoyed these videos about stoicism, dating, relationships, self-help, moving up in life, I would recommend you guys check out some of my courses that I have for sale. These courses are courses for men and women. For example, Nice Girl, Nice Guy is a course about how to become more assertive. Natural Chemistry is a course for women that I have on how to develop strong relationships. Dark Game is a controversial course that I have for guys on how to attract women in their life and keep it. It's not as dark as it seems, but we do talk about some dark psychology in here. Psychological Game of Attraction is a course that we made for women who are single. And as you see, we have a course about how to develop charisma. Emotional Mastery, which is a course about how to develop a meditation practice and how to improve your emotional life, to become more resilient, to not let rejection hit you so hard, to be able to bounce back from failure. I have a course called Nice Guy, which is a course for guys who are single and guys who want to be able to develop more assertiveness training, right? Most of these courses come at $99. And there you could also purchase the bundle where you guys can purchase all of the courses in one go at a discounted rate, right? We have a bundle for women and a bundle for men. So click in the description down below to check them out. You could browse around and see the courses that you like. And if you don't like them, you guys can ask for a 30-day money back guarantee, and I'll give you guys the money back, okay? And in fact, we actually have a new one for women right now we're developing. It's called the Feminine Woman. So if you're a woman watching, this course is specifically to help women become more feminine, to embrace their feminine while embracing their masculine energy. And I'm actually going to make a course for that, like that for men, which is called the Masculine Man, which is a course on how to develop masculinity and develop masculine energy to attract women in your life, to attract business success in your life, to be able to be better socializing, to read people better. It's truly an all-around course. So if you guys want to check out those courses, click on the description down below where it says purchase the courses, and I'll see you guys inside. Bye-bye.